Welcome to the Distract Cast. I guess we should just start from the beginning. I guess EA kicked it off technically this year on a Saturday in the middle of the afternoon.
Yep.
Before we get into that, how'd you feel about the schedule this year? Instead of having everything like stacked on top of each other on Monday.
I think I kind of like things being stacked up on top of each other. Just I don't have to watch so much of IGN or Jeff Keighley or somebody talking in between conferences.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
And I didn't know that EA's thing was on until after it happened. People were like, EA announced, and I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, like, oh, E3 started 2 days early this year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little back and forth on it because the Monday can be really exhausting because it starts pretty early too, and like for a lot of people it's it's shitty. They do have to take off work or school for it.
Yeah, I get that.
But at the same time, like this year, I feel like I've fallen behind a lot. Like
Okay, yeah, compared
like
to... Yeah.
like I haven't watched a lot of like gameplay demos or interviews and stuff because of the fact that I'm still trying to catch up on some conferences that I missed. And
Yep, that PC conference. We're skipping over it altogether just because
yeah,
none of us
really,
saw anything from it.
yeah. I don't know. It's sort of odd. Like, I wonder if they'll do the same thing next year. They probably will.
Oh, just
Like,
starting the same...
yeah, there'll probably be one on like it'll start the week before.
I really hope that there's no more... Well, Bethesda's still going to have a really late conference, aren't they, next year, probably?
Yeah, probably.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the only good thing about the Bethesda one was a reason to stay up so that you could watch the one that comes after,
Yes.
which we'll talk about later,
Yeah.
I guess.
A lot of people probably missed out on it altogether.
Yeah, and it was the best part of E3 this year, definitely.
Yeah, it was this E3's Nintendo World Championships. It was the thing that's outside of the main group of things that was just entertaining and kept everybody alive.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you only skimmed EA's after it happened.
I just saw two bald guys talking about FIFA.
That was pretty much it. That pretty much encapsulates.
That's what I remember of most EA conferences. It's just a long bit of EA Sports in the middle.
Yeah, this time they stretched it out a little bit. They would hit you with it when you least expected it.
Oh.
Like, they'd show you something cool, and then it's like, here's NBA Live, and it's like, fuck. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought the sports was over.
That's annoying. Yeah, because the weird thing is, I was like, how do you hit somebody unexpectedly with the EA stuff at
Yeah.
EA Sports stuff at
You
EA's
you
thing?
make them think it's over, and
Yeah.
then you bring it back. So, one of the things they had was, like, I don't know if this is the full title, like, it's Madden NFL 18 Long Shot. I don't know if that's the name of the story, or if that's the actual name of the game. They didn't make that clear.
It feels like a terrible name for.
Well,
You generally call something a long shot if it's
yeah.
likely not going to be successful or something.
Well, it seems like all the sports games are gonna have a story mode now, because last year's FIFA had one, and it apparently wasn't that bad. So
Okay.
they went all in on Madden. Like, they have an Oscar winner in it. They have like TV actors in it, and I was reading an article that described, like, they set it up as a playable movie, essentially. So I guess it's just a lot of cinematics or some shit.
Do you think that the people who make sports games get bored of making sports games, so that like they needed something else to add to the franchise every year to?
Yeah, this is
Okay,
probably the
interesting.
biggest like evolution of a Madden ever.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's like they're taking cues from like the WWE games.
yeah,
Except they're
that's
not putting like princesses and fairies and bullshit in
that's the exact comparison someone else made. Like, oh, it's like the WWE games with their, but those ones use the last year's storyline, right? They used to do that. Like, you'd
it. I don't even remember.
yeah, like
They're
Smack.
very bad.
Yeah.
Storylines.
I remember SmackDown 2 on PS1. It was like you were replaying last year's SmackDown storyline from
Wow.
from the show.
Oh. Okay.
From yeah, from
Oh. Yeah, I think they went past that.
but yeah, like if if you're ready, you're gonna get a lot of story in your sports games now. Which I guess it's cool because it's essentially a whole new mode, and no one's like putting a gun to your head and saying like,
Yeah.
this is the only way you can play Madden or FIFA.
I don't know. I don't care about sports.
Yeah.
Fuck sports.
And they showed a new Need for Speed has taken a lot of cues from Fast and the Furious.
Okay, I think I saw little bits of this.
Yeah.
You're a huge,
Fast and Furious fan.
I was
yeah.
gonna call it FF. That's confusing.
Yeah. The vibe I get from it was have you ever played Burnout?
No.
So Burnout's more about crashing than racing. It's about like knocking.
I'd totally be into that.
Yeah, it's very arcadey. It's about knocking cars off the road and then cool slow motion crashes. This had a lot of that, but it was doing it every time your vehicle touched another vehicle.
Oh.
And like it's one of those things where they probably did that just for the demonstration to make it look super cool. But there were moments where like his car was like sneezing on another car, and that car would just erupt into like a fireball and start rolling around. So hopefully there's more to it than that. And the one moment that was the most Fast and Furious-y, and like this is a moment like straight out of the first film, like there's an 18-wheeler that they're chasing, and like the car rolls up next to it, and there's like a ladder on the side of the truck, and the passenger's like, all right, slow down so she like climbs out the window, jumps on the roof, and then like goes to jump on the ladder. And I'm watching this and like, there's a moment where the car has to pull away because another one comes screaming in between. And like it's all cinematic. Like you have no control over like the girl as she's like climbing up the ladder, and it's like that could have been a gameplay thing. Like you could have made, even if it was a QuickTime event, you could give some agency to the player and make them feel like they're the ones
and
who
actually
are...
that's a scenario I'm not used to playing in games. If you're the guy driving the car, not the person trying to get onto the thing.
Yeah,
so it's like it's almost like playing Lemmings in a weird way. Like you're not directly responsible for you're responsible, but you're not directly in control of the main action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting, but they
decided
no.
Yeah, like she started to climb up the ladder, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch her. Like it's gonna take a few seconds for her to climb up the ladder and make it to the top of the truck. It cuts to black, and then she's already on top of the truck. And it's like, did you really need to skip that part?
Yeah.
And then control goes to her because she steals the supercar that's inside of the truck that they're trying to get.
Okay.
And then she shoots it out the back of the 18-wheeler.
Is it easy to get into the back of a truck from the top of the truck?
If there's like an access hatch or something, but most trucks aren't designed with that. Yeah, I don't even remember how she got in. But that's Need for Speed Payback.
Okay.
And then I guess we could talk about A Way Out.
Oh, okay. So the only game that I saw.
Yeah, the one that I think everyone sort of was like, oh, that's probably the one thing I want to play.
Yeah. It
other than Star Wars.
Right. That's them, right? EA.
Yeah, EA has the Star Wars.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And they're making a bunch of games. Like they're making Battlefront, and then Amy Hennig, one of the creators of Uncharted, left Uncharted 4 to go work on the Star Wars project years ago. We haven't seen any of it.
Is that 1313 that you're talking about, or
no? 1313 was canceled.
Okay,
but
there's
this
no intention to bring anything of that back.
No, because of the fact that was pre the Disney acquisition, so it would just be messy. But Amy's thing is very much going to be a third-person action adventure in the style of Uncharted, but just set in the universe of Star Wars.
Okay.
And so people are super excited about that. And she's working with another, EA studio on that. But the thing is, like, they didn't show any of that this year. Some people thought, like, well, it's about time. And she, just tweeted, like, it's Battlefront's year this year,
Okay.
Which is cool. And she's like, I'm proud of that team and stuff. But we very much know they have other Star Wars stuff, but they only focused on one this year.
Okay. I guess we should return to the thing that we brought up.
Yeah. Okay. From the creator of Brothers is their next game, A Way Out, which is about two guys who are in prison. One who's sort of like a he's fresh meat, I guess you'd call him.
Okay.
In prison slang. I haven't been in prison for years. I should go back.
Doing a podcast with a parolee.
I got that beeping is my fucking. So like, you play as one of the two prisoners. One is a newbie who's in there, and he knows another guy is planning on getting out, but the other guy doesn't want anything to do with him. You know.
Okay.
He's sort of like pushing him away. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna ruin my whole plan." And the trailer makes it pretty clear they both have motivations. Have you seen any of that footage?
Not too much. I basically just saw some people's reactions to the footage that was shown off. It just came off
Different than
the conceptually just very cool, and I like the fact that it looks like those scenes from 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah,
where
split screen. Like. That came out during their whole like, we're supporting smaller studios and helping them publish stuff. A lot of people thought it was gonna be Unravel 2, that with that little yarn thing. Yeah,
that was I was glad months later to have heard some people like that game.
Yeah,
because that was announced just before Shenmue 3 and the.
Oh really?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Was it 2015?
I think so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it got like the shit end of the stick as far as like conferences to be announced in.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people went into this one assuming we'd see a sequel, but the only game that sort of fit that role this year was A Way Out. I played Brothers. I enjoyed that. That's another game that was very focused on cooperation between characters, but you're in control. It's not a co-op game.
Okay, yeah.
This one is forcing co-op essentially, like either split screen, and when the creator talked about it, he made it seem like you'd have to play it on the couch with someone else.
All right.
But then later on, he said something about online. So I wonder if they'll have a deal where if you buy 2 copies, you can get a discount, and then use that to gift it.
Okay, that'd be nice.
Because it does necessitate 2 players.
Sounds like a very Nintendo marketing strategy sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like you'd see that on PC more so than the consoles. I don't even know if you can gift games on consoles yet.
On the Wii you used to, and then they took that away, even though everybody loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how I got most of my Virtual Console games. So I have all the Street Fighter 2s. All the Street Fighter 2s.
So like someone could buy Street Fighter and just give it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then they took that away for absolutely no good reason. Everybody should have copied that, in my opinion.
So yeah, like the thing about the trailer is like it showed them getting out. A part of me was like, oh man, I sort of wish they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the show Prison Break went on for a lot more seasons after the prison break than it should have. But it gave a lot of context. There's it seems like both of them have something they're looking for outside of prison. Like one wants to sort of reconnect with his young daughter, and the other one is looking for revenge.
Okay.
So I like that. I like the fact that they give you a little bit more of their motivation. Are you gonna get a console or system where we could play that together?
I will probably be getting a PS4, probably, or possibly an Xbox One if my brother wants to go in on that for the 4K Blu-ray player. $200 is good.
Yeah,
price.
That's not that.
Yeah.
You'd be paying what, $100?
Yeah, I could do that, and then still probably get a PS4 so I can. Is that stupid to get a PS4 to game on after I have an Xbox One?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
If you're going multi-platform. Unless there's a lot of hot exclusives you need on the PS4.
Not so many.
Yeah. And then did they end the show? No, they ended the show with a fucking 30-minute Battlefront 2 like live multiplayer thing. After they sent out the main actress who plays the protagonist in the story mode to talk about how important story mode is. they brought up the tweet that John Boyega, who plays Finn, they brought up his tweet where he was asking EA, where's the story mode for Battlefront? And she claimed it was a tweet heard around the world. And they did this whole spiel about...
I just want to point out my first time hearing about it.
And then he did like a video conference call where he confirmed that like Finn and Phasma will be coming as DLC.
Okay.
And it's like, that's cool and everything. But then why show 30 minutes of multiplayer, you know? And apparently story mode was there. Some journalists saw it behind a closed door.
I heard the same thing. I heard somebody saying, like, you know, you told us all about the story mode, and then you decided to show us multiplayer anyway.
And then people assumed it'll be at Sony's because they have a marketing deal. It did not appear at Sony's either. Hopefully, you know, they're not yanking the rug out.
I don't know how what I feel about you know, having to get an actor to tell us the importance of a story mode if the whole reason that they're adding it is people complain that there wasn't one to begin with. Like, if anything, you would have given the mic to a fan to tell EA the importance of story. You know what I mean? Like, why waste time talking to, like, trying to tell the fans what like, how, you know, how story mode is important when it's the fans who asked for it.
Well, no, John Boyega as a fan sent this tweet.
But it was basically just on that tweet, or wasn't, like, in general fans were asking for it?
No, they just used his tweet as an example.
Okay.
They came from his like perspective as a fan, not as the actor.
Okay.
But everyone was super vocal about that though.
Okay, because I'm like, that's weird regardless, because you don't need to defend having a story mode in your game unless you're EA Sports making.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was only...
No, it was just them trying to engender goodwill by saying, we listened to you guys.
Yeah.
When we knew the truth is that they had to rush Battlefront out for Force Awakens.
I don't know, I guess I'm a little... I just get a little cynical about certain things. I'm like, just stop talking.
Yeah.
Guys. You're just trying to make it seem like you care.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. When a company tries to seem like they're taking fans' opinions over, you know,
like
their
when
own
you do
business
these little
interests.
speech things and then like trying to be all honest, then you also give us some people doing a fake voice chat.
Yeah.
You know, like we know the whole thing's fabricated. Just don't worry about it. Just tell us you have the story mode. We're all happy.
Yeah.
Show some of it, maybe, instead of having somebody talk about it and then.
Yeah, like even the season stuff, like that was another thing. There was like, all of the DLC seasons will be free, but they kept using the word seasons. And it's like seasons are associated with a season pass, which is like something that gives you access to all content for a certain amount of time. And like, if you look at the information on their website, there's asterisks everywhere. And my thinking is that like the way the seasons work is like, so imagine the first season is Finn and Phasma and some maps and shit. That season will be free for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And then when the new season comes out, that season will then become something you need to pay for.
Okay.
And
that's kind. Unless I'm missing something.
But the problem with that is like you're claiming all DLC is free, when in essence it's it's whatever the newest DLC that'll be available for free.
Okay.
So if you want to go back and play as Finn and Phasma, you'd have to pay for it. That's not what they claimed.
It's not like it's free for a certain amount of time, and if you grab it in that amount of time, then you keep it.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're
See,
gaining access to it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is what I'm assuming based off of the fact that they keep saying that there's free DLC seasons, and not just saying what it should be, which is free DLC. No one, like Titanfall 2 has free DLC.
Yeah.
There's no small print. Like there's no overthinking it. All the DLC is free. Why keep saying that the DLC seasons are free for Battlefront?
They need to figure out a different way. Because I'm not against conceptually what's going on, because you do have to send the DLC to everybody for like, you know, online play to be like consistent.
Yeah, that's why
they're using that for like a small amount of time. So that makes a lot of sense, but at the same time they're
marketing
it. Weird way to word it.
Yeah, they're marketing in the wrong way. But again, this is all conjecture just based off of the fact that they're using very odd wording.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when businesses use very odd wording, there's
Yeah.
something going on. And then I guess the only other thing is in the middle of the conference, they teased BioWare's new game, Anthem, with a small teaser. And then said, like, you know, tune in tomorrow for Microsoft's conference to see a gameplay reveal.
Okay.
And people were super excited for it. Of course, you know, people came out of the woodwork saying, like, hey, that's bullshit. They only showed 50 seconds of a CGI trailer. And it was like,
Okay, that explains why I don't remember it.
well, the last 2 seconds of the trailer say tune in tomorrow to see a gameplay reveal. Like all you have to do is just read.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just wait. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to do anything to make time move forward. You can literally just stand there. You can literally stand in place and time will move forward. And then, like, this moment that's occurring right now will stop, and then another moment will begin.
That's my favorite quote of all time. You don't have to do anything to make time move forward.
And like, so like these people were having trouble like with grasping that idea.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, well, why isn't it now? Like, why is that moment not now? And it was like, because you have to wait. And it's like, well, how does that work?
How long does waiting? How long is that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, well, depends.
And all you have to do is like stop and think, like, the moment that is occurring now will be over, and I will, my body and my mind will exist in a moment beyond this current moment.
Literally, when you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
About the now, it already passed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's almost like now doesn't even exist.
Are we doing a version of that Spaceballs sketch?
But yeah, that was the EA conference, I guess. And now we can move on to another one. Because
we
time.
ended the EA conference on a Spaceballs sketch.
I wouldn't mind that. EA Spaceballs.
I would love to see a Spaceballs game.
Spaceballs battle. They made it Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, if they have some barf DLC, that'd be amazing, because we miss John Candy. That's John Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess.
By the way, great. If somebody's gaining a little weight and you want to insult them, call them John Candy Ass. Because I love that.
So I guess we should move on. Well, the next one was it was technically Microsoft's, right? But we're gonna do that in a separate thing because we're gonna stick to the.
Oh yeah, EA's was
ones.
the only one that day?
Yeah.
That's weird. Because so early on in the day, you'd expect one to at least be at night, but...
My thinking behind it was EA knows it has shitty conferences, and so instead of wasting people's...
Instead of making them better.
Yeah, so instead of wasting people's time with it, they'd put it out in the middle of the afternoon on Saturday where most people didn't even realize it was on. And then by Monday or Sunday night, we'd forget about it.
Okay.
Instead of instead of having it as a part of a shit sandwich on Monday, it's this little turd that came out on Saturday, and then you forgot about it.
Okay. I would have liked a little Konami conference later on in the day, you know? Little,
We get something that was sort of close
10,000 troops.
10 million
10
troops.
million troops. That shit that they did the year afterwards sucked, though. It was almost like a direct, but it just felt like a marketing thing.
They did another one after that?
They did like a pre-recorded thing that they released maybe a day before the other, or 2 days before the other conferences, and it felt like we at Konami Marketing Solutions. It felt like that sort of shit.
I am your chief synergy officer.
Yeah, it felt really crappy, and I was like, this year's E3 is gonna suck based on this. But then I think that E3 was that was 15. so what do I know?
So we're gonna skip Microsoft for now. That'll be in another podcast.
This is what we're gonna call the third-party podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good name for it. Thank you for coming up with that. So Bethesda decided to push their conference from 10 o'clock Eastern or 9 o'clock Eastern, actually, to fucking 12 o'clock. And we decided to stay up and watch it like a bunch of other idiots.
Yep.
And
full disclosure, we don't like Bethesda.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they kept doing conferences after Fallout, because there was nothing worth having a conference about other than Fallout. But here they are doing it again.
Wasn't a bad conference.
Yeah, it actually wasn't that bad. It was actually one of the better ones this year.
Yeah.
So they show up some VR stuff. Doom VFR, which is it's a standalone Doom thing.
What do those letters stand for?
Well, BFG stands for Big Fucking Gun.
Okay.
So I assume
Virtual fucking reality.
Yeah. VCR was taken. That sort of looked cool, but it was using that like point and click movement because I guess you'd throw up if you played Doom.
Didn't they do the same sort of move? They do the same sort of movement in Resident Evil 7, right?
It gave you an option actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could do it on. You could move with the sticks, or you could do the point and click.
How many people do you think close their eyes before they move forward and then they open them again?
Just so they don't get sick?
Yeah, just so that they're in a new location next time they open their eyes and they don't get any of the judder
For which mode? Where they're controlling movement or where they're pointing and clicking?
When they're pointing and clicking. Because you sort of just get brought there sometimes. At least in Resident Evil 7.
I wonder. I guess it depends on your constitution. Like if you can handle it. That even in videos it throws me off.
Yeah, I don't know. Just that
your entire like orientation.
It feels like one of those things where like if you're doing that, you're not quite doing VR right. Like it sort of feels.
Yeah.
Hacked on.
Yeah, it's. There's a lot of problems that still need to be solved. Like why they made Fallout 4 VR.
Oh. Right.
Which apparently it sounds like it's the whole game, right? Like you could play the whole game in
guess.
VR.
Were we noticing that it looked shittier?
Oh yeah, all the VR stuff looked shittier.
Huh.
Like they definitely brought it down, I guess, to get it on PlayStation.
But that's the thing, the PlayStation
Pro.
Like no, but the PlayStation 4, like last year, we were expecting a bunch of, PSVR stuff to look shitty, and it was like that was before the Pro was announced or even rumored. Like, I think, right? No, am I wrong about that? No, the PS4 Pro was rumored by that point because they had announced it. Like sort of in an interview, but
yeah, but they didn't show it at E3.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, so all the stuff that we saw for VR stuff on the PS4 was just base PS4, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I remember you saying like, "This shit looks pretty. I'm good for VR."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a company that is known to release their games on PC all of a sudden has this fucking terrible looking lineup of VR games.
So
Fight me.
Fight. And then they showed off something called Skyrim Creation Club, which I guess is like some type of like mod community.
Doesn't that name feel like it's not quite on brand? Because Skyrim's like all okay, if you told me that there was something called like Little Big Planet Creation Club.
Wait, no,
I'm
using fucking IGN's wiki, which is user created. So either it was supposed to be Skyrim, Creation Club, or they meant Bethesda Creation Club.
Bethesda would be better because if it was Skyrim, I'd be like, call it something with a forge or something.
Yeah,
like keep it in that. Otherwise, it just sounds too artsy for a bunch of people like in their games who are dirty and they fart a lot.
So Bethesda Creation Club has been getting a lot of flack because they've tried this shit before. They've tried to charge people for mods.
Okay. They tried to charge people for the things that they made.
Yeah, for fixing their games.
Yes.
And this time...
I'm glad that at least didn't work. The fact that they still managed to sell games even though people have to fix them all the time is sad enough.
Yeah.
It's good that they at least...
But they're trying it again with this thing. They just changed the name, and they're claiming... Like, I guess it all comes down to the profit split, right? Like, how much are they getting? How much are users getting? I don't know. Look, people make those games what they are, and if you're a business and you're watching that happen over and over again, of course you're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah. And I guess you could pull some sort of like, oh well, we have to because technically they're somewhere using our IP in these things.
So I don't really...
And they're recreating our textures, which are copywritten, technically. Not copywritten, whatever. I just...
Yeah, I don't really give a shit, though. But they did show...
I don't plan on buying.
They showed Skyrim for Switch.
Yes.
That was the second time we had seen a Switch in a conference that day that wasn't a Nintendo related
Yeah, that's
thing.
right.
And it has amiibo support.
Yeah, so you can play as
a grody ass looking Link.
Yeah, like a Link that sleeps on garbage like bags or something. Like, it looks awful. The hair in particular is what makes it really bad.
The
It just
banana
looks
peel,
matted.
the banana peel hair.
Yeah, it looks so matted and gross, and I don't know. Like, those are not aesthetics that meld. You have to go outside of your Skyrim aesthetic to get that to really not look gross.
Yeah. But they had like fun, like poppy music, and
which also is unnecessary.
It's gonna be the fun Skyrim.
They could have used the gray switch as well instead of the multicolor one. Does it have motion controls?
Probably not.
I thought somebody said it had like motion controls to actually like swing and stuff like that, because you have a first-person game where you're holding
a sword and shield.
Yeah, sword and shield. So you could do that.
I have no idea. I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any ifs. Bethesda bores the piss out of us.
And then they showed some DLC for Dishonored 2, and then a bunch of Elder Scrolls stuff that wasn't the Elder Scrolls stuff that people wanted to see, which was the next Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Like, they announced 3 new Skyrims. Well, no, 3 Skyrim projects, essentially. Skyrim VR.
Yeah. Skyrim
for PlayStation. Yeah.
And then Skyrim, the expansion for...
No, that's Morrowind.
Oh, that's Morrowind.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
right.
it's technically 2 Skyrims, but goddamn, are they bleeding that fucking stone dry?
Yeah.
Like, that game came out in 2012.
I thought it was 11.
I don't know. It feels like it's 2006, though.
It feels like forever
It looks
ago.
like a 2000.
It does. Like, I remember being somewhat impressive for the
People
time.
are like, these guys fucking... Why did they watch the Bethesda God? Why do they do
Why?
that?
Because we like video games.
Yeah, we're committed to video games. That's
Yeah.
why. And
Also-
they did have some cool shit at the end.
Oh yeah, because I mean, even last year I liked seeing the Doom stuff, which is what brought me
Yeah.
to watching this.
They publish good shit. They
Yeah,
just
they
don't
publish
make
good shit,
it.
They make bad shit.
Yeah, they own a lot of good IPs that they put in the hands of good developers. But going back to the new Elder Scrolls, people were like, "Oh, I want to see it," and Bethesda's like, "We'll show it when it's like months away from release," and now they're claiming that like they never even started work on it, and there's like 2 other projects they need to knock out first before they even think about the next Elder Scrolls. So get used to playing Skyrim for like the next 6 years.
Jesus Christ, you'd think that they weren't big enough, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they are sort of smaller than a lot of the other studios. Like,
I mean, they're a publisher though. That's the weird thing. Usually, when you're a publisher, you're decent size.
Yeah, you could just stack teams on top of each other.
Yeah, but like especially when like you make 2 series and they use the same engine.
Yeah.
And God knows you didn't work on that engine too
Yeah,
much.
and your bread and butter are just those 2 series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. Like, I guess it'd be cool to see a new IP from them. Apparently, there's something called Starfield, which is like their. And at first I was like, "Are you sure that whoever leaked it didn't mean Seinfeld? Like they're doing either a Seinfeld game or a Garfield game."
They would be the worst to do a Seinfeld game.
What about
because
What about a Garfield game?
Garfield actually more so they could work with.
He hates Mondays and he loves lasagna.
But he also doesn't emote.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like the fact that nobody cares when they're moving. Garfield doesn't move at all when he's speaking.
Yeah.
So you can have Odie in there and everybody. But the problem is when you have not Dave. Dave? Dave is from Alvin and the Chipmunks, isn't it?
I forgot the
whatever
name.
the human is named.
John Arbuckle.
John Arbuckle, yeah, you have to worry about him. You gotta make him move a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think their engine is... I feel like there's a Skyrim mod for Seinfeld and Garfield already, so you don't even really need those games.
Yeah, could you imagine them trying to handle the Kramer character in that engine? Like, he's just barely moving.
Yeah.
And he
Like,
just looks like he's yelling, like he's just Like,
he has like none of the gesticulation. Like,
yeah.
his arms are just straight the entire time.
None of those characters can actually work without moving their arms. They all talk with their hands. Anyway, this is probably my favorite part of talking about the Bethesda conference.
And then they ended the show with. So I got to give credit to them for the format. They went for games with like little bumpers of like a playland type
Yeah,
thing.
Bethesda Land, which they use sort of their Fallout style of humor in.
Yeah.
Which it's amazing that the Fallout series is owned by them.
Yeah.
Considering that it has so much personality, it doesn't come out in the actual gameplay.
Yeah. Oh. you just find new ways to just shove that knife deep in there.
No, because it is sad.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You look at Fallout and you're like, wow, I would love this. Then you sit down and you try to play it a little bit, and you're like,
but they didn't incubate that personality. That was there in
that was
the
there
original series
from Interplay, right?
Yeah. Like it came along. It was part of the fucking package.
Yeah.
Like if they just ignored the whole retro futurist 50s thing, then people would have been like, that's not a Fallout.
Yeah.
So that's not like Pip-Boy's not theirs, you know.
Yeah.
Like that was there already.
Okay, yeah. So it's not surprising at all, and it's also not surprising that they fucked it up.
But they closed all that shit was coming out this year, which is cool because a lot of stuff felt like, just like last year, everything's coming out in the next year, 2018.
Yeah, they're very what's the word I want to look for? Well, that word's not coming, but it's good at that.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see at least one conference focus on like, you know, here's shit that you know you'll be seeing this year.
Yeah. Something you can actually get hyped for, and not something that you sort of remember was announced that comes out in the hype for next year's E3.
Yeah. Or something you only remember when you read a headline that says it was canceled.
Oh yeah, it's always great.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Scalebound. I really like that game. It's never coming out now.
Yeah. I feel like they never would have told anybody that it was canceled, that if it weren't for the fact that people started asking.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what's up with Scalebound? And it's like, oh, we canceled that.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for telling us.
I should have never said anything because it's like Schrodinger's cat at that point. Like, it still exists. So they ended with the two big ones they're going to have. I think they come out in the same month, too. I think they come out in October this year. Evil Within 2, which is from the creator of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 4. The trailer was sort of weird because it was very like stylistic and CGI heavy, and then with a little bit of gameplay at the end. Do you remember that? It was with like it looked like white milk or like white pools and like psychological horror. Yeah. Like it clearly there's clearly gameplay to see because it's coming this year.
Mm-hmm. It reminded me a little bit of the Death Stranding type of stuff. Like
yeah.
I wasn't able to pull much from it. It's just sort of nice visuals.
Yeah, I'm sure people who play the first game were able to like see things that stood out to them. But the real, I guess, the show stealer was a sequel to a game that I know people across the world are probably now looking to find in a bargain bin or a library shelf. Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
Yeah, the only game from this conference that I was like, I would like to play that.
Yeah.
And to consolidate the reaction of this, one of my friends posted on Facebook a picture. It was just a logo. It says Wolfenstein, and on the bottom it says, "So much for a tolerant left."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's a hot meme right now.
Yeah.
So New Colossus was known about since last year. It was hidden in like in Bethesda's conference. There was like some code, and when you looked at it, it said New Colossus. It didn't show up there, which is fine or whatever, because now it's coming out very soon, and people are really excited about it. I've always been interested in checking out the first one. It was one of those like things where it's like, oh, Wolfenstein should be treated with some
reverence,
because it's, you know, the forefather of the whole
I'm so thankful
genre.
you used that word because I was going to, but I forgot what it was. And I was gonna say veracity, which is
Yeah.
wrong. But yeah, I think the same thing. And what's interesting was when the last one came out, I was sort of surprised that there was some interest around it.
Yeah.
Because I know it's Wolfenstein, but sometimes these like older franchises, you haven't heard of them in such a while that like they lost some of their sort of marketability.
Yeah, it's
Like Pac-Man. People
Yeah.
don't get excited about like new Pac-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing with like Doom. It's like, well, people care about a new
Yeah.
Doom. The last one wasn't that good. But we back to what we were saying about Bethesda putting the IP in the right hand with people who clearly get the IP, but also know how to contemporize it in a very cool way. Yeah, the first one didn't care about it. People started coming out of the woodwork saying like, this is one of the best FPSs like in a long time.
Okay. I feel like I played it somewhere. I don't remember where.
Yeah, like it even like started doing a lot of like throwback stuff. Like you need the health packs.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it doesn't have regenerating health. You can dual wield. There's crazy over the top weapons. But apparently like beyond that, like it had like an engaging narrative, like we saw in this trailer, like characters that seem like actual human beings.
Yeah, I
with,
really like
with
this.
their own thoughts and ideas. And there was I heard there was like a replayability factor due to the idea that like there's branching paths. Like you could get a slightly different ending in that game.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Like it's not like a Mass Effect like dialogue wheel thing, but there are moments where you have to make a decision that can give you a slightly different.
I like that because when I realize that like the choices I'm making in my entertainment are going to result in me not seeing certain things.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
But if you just do it in a way where like I didn't know it was, where I thought it was just that that's how it was. Yeah. It just feels better. I don't know.
Yeah. So, it's very cool to see that they didn't just like pump out a quick sequel or just let this stagnate on the shelf, because I don't know how well it did sales wise,
Yeah.
but they clearly are going balls out with this one. There's a lot of buzz around it, and deservedly so. Like they said, there's a pregnant woman stabbing a Nazi while a dude hits some acid. Yeah. Like very interesting, very cool. The collector's edition is pretty dope. Comes with like a G.I. Joe style like action figure doll.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the whole alternate history aspect of it. So do you have any other thoughts or ideas?
About Bethesda's conference in general?
Yeah, anything jump out to you?
No, it was the first conference that I questioned why they had to have people meet in a theater, because it was all just like trailers being linked together by little pieces of the Bethesda Land thing.
And they're not the only ones to do that. Sony very much had that vibe. I guess
Sony at the very least added the like performance stuff to it. Stuff that wasn't like, oh well, we just want people who don't want to watch E3 anyway to
like a dance number or like
the Jason Derulo thing.
Yeah, someone coming out and doing spoken word about basketball.
Yeah,
that's still my favorite from EA's conference. I guess we could talk about that a little bit.
I sometimes worry about bringing that up because I'm a Nintendo fan, so like it just feels like I'm like, well, Nintendo's idea is much better. But when like everybody's when you're throwing away the format but not, it's weird.
Yeah, when you're doing Nintendo's idea, then do it fully, like commit to it, because
I mean, I'm glad they didn't just do Nintendo's idea, because I do kind of like seeing the conference stuff. I just wish they'd work on their shit,
It's odd because it's to me it's all cyclical, because first it began with like, I don't want to hear these people. Like I don't want to see this bold guy in an oversized suit tell me why I should fucking watch this TV show that's a tie-in with this video game. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a waste of my time. I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
And then like, not like, okay, like it's not just CGI. Like, it needs to be real time. Like, I need to see someone holding a controller.
I think Microsoft does it well.
Yeah, Microsoft has a good balance, and they
Yeah.
really did it well this year. Like, they like revealed a car on stage and shit. But at the same time, I think what people need is context.
Yes.
Like seeing a bunch of trailers one after another is the equivalent of finding a YouTube playlist of E3 trailers. But when you can have one guy come out, and if it's a recognizable face, like even if you have like someone like Cliffy B come out and just go like, here's my thing, and this is my philosophy behind this thing, and like when a celebrity is clearly on a show to what the fuck is the word, plug their new project, the host will always ask them like, you know, do you want to introduce the clip? And they usually do. Like, they usually say, you're going to see a clip of an action scene, or you're going to see,
Unless you're Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, you always know what clip he brings to Conan's show. But yeah, I think context could go a long way.
But also, there's so many times when people at these conferences are asked to come in, talk about their game, and how many of them do like some form of piss poor character, like a marketing character?
Yeah.
With the exception of the guy from For Honored, who is amazing. And
he
I would
is
hire
a
him.
real life character. Like,
Yeah,
that's who
like-
he is. Yeah, no, like,
Like when almost said Phil Spencer. What's the I'm sorry,
which
Xbox's guy.
isn't it Phil Spencer?
Is it Phil Spencer? Is it Phil Spencer? I'm getting confused with Richard Spencer. Okay. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, so Phil Spencer. When Phil Spencer comes out, he's so legitimate.
Yeah.
You know, and like he just loves talking about things, and people feel that from him. He's just talking to you.
If you can sound like you're not talking off the teleprompter, then that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Like,
But once the moment people realize you are, you're
the
pretty
polar
much
opposite
dead.
is usually Ubisoft's conferences or something like that.
Yeah.
Where like everybody's just like asked to do, or you know, try to be entertaining while also just trying to speak English. Like, which is another thing that they shouldn't do to him, to do to those guys. But whatever.
Well, it's it's a good segue because that's what we're going to talk about next, the Ubisoft conference. I think they did a good job of saying like, here's a human being behind all the digital stuff you're seeing.
Okay, yeah,
Because-
this year I was thinking of
This year, because you had two dudes cry, you know, like you had two dudes cry, and it felt legitimate.
Yes.
And the first one cried during their opening game of Mario plus Rabbids, Mushroom.
Oh yeah,
King-
that's right.
What's it? Mario plus Rabbids.
You'd think I would know.
Mushroom Kingdom.
but
Correct.
maybe, but it's definitely Mario plus Rabbids. It's the
Yeah.
only Mario plus Rabbids game. So
Yeah.
that one.
They opened with that, which was pretty much a game everyone sort of already knew about.
Yeah.
We already knew what it looked like.
I already saw promotional artwork for it.
Yeah. But they did a great job presenting it.
Any single time that you bring Miyamoto out, like people pay attention. At least I
Yeah.
do. Like,
Yeah. So they got Miyamoto-san out there. They got Bill Trinan. But there's a moment where Miyamoto talked about who's actually leading development on it, and it was a Ubisoft developer. And he's in the crowd, and he is crying. And then later on, I sent you the article. I read about his first meeting with Miyamoto and how he was struggling between losing his shit and asking Miyamoto to sign his stuff, or doing his job and being a professional and presenting his, his PowerPoint presentation on why Ubisoft should be allowed to use the Mario IP. And in that story, he in that article, he mentioned how years prior to that opportunity, he had been living in France. He had heard Miyamoto was staying in France in a hotel, so he called a bunch of different hotels until he found out which hotel he was staying in. Then he slept in front of the he sat outside the hotel for 10 hours just so he could meet Miyamoto. And so it's very clear the importance that Miyamoto had in his life.
I wonder if he ever told Miyamoto about that, and if so, was it like near the end of development for this game?
Yeah, like if Miyamoto, I think he successfully met him, but he might not even remember.
Yeah.
But it a little thing like that, like to see, I can't even imagine what it would be to be like in his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting at a conference, and his boss and his idol are pretty much like
talking about how great of a job he
yeah. Like, how do you not break down a little bit and think like, holy shit, when I was 7 years old and playing Mario, I would never think I was in this situation.
Yeah, it was really sweet. That whole thing was really
nice,
'cause the game looks good, but also you had Miyamoto out. You had Eve doing like the most playful thing I've ever seen him do. Not that he's a robot or anything. Like, but you know, the whole buddy cop sort of pose.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And then the guy crying.
Yeah.
It was a good start to Ubisoft's conference.
Yeah, it set a tone that I think went throughout the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was gonna really miss Aisha Tyler.
Because usually we need these people to sort of, you know, maybe pull some personality into it, but
yeah,
worked out pretty well. It was short too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 40, 45.
Okay.
And then let me see what they actually brought. Okay, so they had fucking Assassin's Creed Origins segment.
Oh my god, I can't believe we even forgot about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually came over to watch this, but you missed that.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing I had to tell you about. They have this guy out, forgetting his name.
It was like Ashraf.
Ashraf.
His first name was Ashraf.
Yeah, because it's the last name of somebody I went to high school with. And grammar school. But and then he just cuts to what we thought would be direct feed footage or some sort of gameplay from it, and instead we see some people doing something kind of like what Sony or Nintendo does with the two people working for them on a couch interviewing people, and for some reason they put their set outside
in a parking lot,
and they have the developer or somebody playing it off of an LCD screen that no LCD screen is bright enough to be seen in daylight. So you just see a dark ass screen, and then they say, "Well, you get direct feed footage, a little."
Yeah, stay tuned after the show.
What a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Like, the saddest part, I think, is that when you watch it, one of the guys makes reference to like, it's a sunny day in the game world. It's a sunny day out here. Like, they at that moment realized
this is a bad idea.
Yeah, this is a bad idea. What? I mean, the sad thing is, if they waited, you saw, like, the shadow that the building was cast, like, just behind it? If they waited, like, 10 more minutes, they would have had that shadow.
Yeah, if they were just like, cut back to us in 10 minutes, the screen will look visible.
Oh, God. It's so fucking sad.
So, then they showed South Park.
Okay, yeah.
No Trey and Matt this year, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, they gotta finish that fucking game, so...
yeah.
But then there's another South Park game, Phone Destroyer.
Okay, yeah.
Which looked cool, but it's like, hey, that other one was announced 2 years ago, so maybe get one out and then worry about the other one. But I'm down for more.
Phone game announcements at things. Because I actually don't mind as long as it looks like a good game.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like, I'm playing Injustice 2 right now. It's almost fully featured. It's almost as fully featured as the console game.
Yeah.
You can play most of the story mode in it.
I do wish that, like, sometimes they would bring some of these games to console. Sometimes, like, because it's like, I know you're making it for the phone, but if it's a thing that's compatible with a sort of console type of...
Like that Fallout Shelter or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, in Justice's case, there is a fucking direct thing. Maybe Phone Destroyer will be what comes out on Switch.
If anything comes out on Switch.
And then...
that discussion gets so messy that the last time we did a podcast about it, I just never released it.
we cried and we bled.
Yeah.
From the same holes.
We just looked like a creepypasta.
Then they showed, speaking of shit that's never coming out for the Switch, Steep, Road to the Olympics.
Oh, right.
That will come out in 2020, the year of the Japanese Olympics.
Yeah.
That's not a winter one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, more shit for that, but no talk about the Switch one at all, was there?
Yeah, which is weird considering that was the only one that's not out, right? Or isn't it? I thought it was.
Yeah. They're all out except that one.
So they talked about the DLC, never decided to update us at all about this. I experienced it with the Wii U. It's fine. Not like I have a Switch. I'm just saying,
You lived through the dark ages.
Yeah, I'm like, look at your history. That's all I'm saying.
Look to the past to see the future.
Yeah.
And then there was the Crew 2, which just has like any fucking drivable vehicle in it you can drive all across the United States.
But a bike.
Like a regular bicycle?
Yeah.
If it has a motor attached to it.
Okay.
Because it's all about the Motor Nation or some shit they kept saying. Skull and Bones.
Okay.
Which
I remember the shitty box art that I pointed out.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait. Now I remember it.
That's a pirate like.
Yeah, they basically just used their code for the pirate stuff in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
They worked on. Yeah.
But people are disappointed because it's like online, multiplayer only.
That's a thing people get disappointed about now.
Well, they thought like
it's difficult to gauge people sometimes.
They thought it would be a pirate sim.
Oh, okay.
Not like a naval battle. You can't get off the ships.
Oh.
Look, you're tied to the ships.
Oh.
There's no landmass that you can explore.
Oh.
That'll probably be like in DLC. Like a ship that goes on land. We call it a land boat.
It'd be great if there was like a partnership with the Need for Speed series, like across, and they just have like the land boat can chase the cars. We have the.
Are you writing a script for the next Fast and Furious?
I might be. I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I gave away too much. And then there was the Elijah Wood game, Transference.
That's all we called it, was the Elijah Wood game.
Because we don't know what the fuck it is.
We're not sure that we got out of that segment yet.
Yeah, we still. So our theory is that the whole Ubisoft conference was from within that.
Yeah.
Whatever Transference is.
Yeah, like once that started, we never got out of it.
We're still in it.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like they were trying to present it as like like.
Yeah, in like 99 they found research.
Yeah, like they're trying to present it as real things, which is dangerous in a time where people believe any old shit.
Yeah, in a world of alternative facts, saying that you found research that can prove that the human brain can be uploaded to a computer is not a good idea.
Yeah. Especially
with gamers that believe that Bully 2, Kevin's Backjack, was a real game.
I was just gonna say,
Did you read about that?
No, I didn't. Is this like the Shazam thing? Like how
no, it's not an alternate thing. Game Informer, like sometimes
the April Fool's things.
Yeah, like they fuck around with interns. But like that stuff is never saved to their servers, and one of the dudes must have saved it, but like it had been on the server since January, and like I guess in the E3 fever, someone found it and was like, Game Informer just accidentally leaked Bully 2, Kevin's Backjack. I checked the wiki. There is no Kevin. So his return wouldn't mean anything. There is no Jack from the original. I've played the first Bully. The only Kevin is a voice actor of one of the characters in the game.
That's amazing.
And they deliberately gave it a shitty subtitle so that no one would believe it's real. But that made people believe it even more so. Yeah. After the explanation of how this occurred came out, people believe that is also fake, and Game Informer is working with Rockstar on this like crazy viral thing, and
there's some flat earthers still waiting for it. Trust me.
Flat Earth 2, Kevin's back.
The Flat Earth 2 around the world.
But yeah, Elijah Wood's got a fucking movie studio, and he's interested in VR. And I don't know if that game uses like FMV footage or like.
Oh.
It's very odd.
I really hope that was not loud, like I thought it was.
It was very loud. And then Starlink Battle for Atlas was pretty interesting.
That is the one where you mount a full fucking thing on your controller, right?
Yeah, you mount a Star Destroyer on your.
Yeah,
fucking...
I'm about to say I was gonna say Millennium Falcon. You went bigger. The game looks more in depth than something that sort of is. I can use the word gimmicky. Normally would. Like it kind of. It's interesting. It looks like they really hope for it to be successful, but I don't know who it's marketed to. Is it marketed to like the people who like to buy Warhammer figures and paint them? I don't. It's like an older demographic, but it's also a sort of Skylanders type of concept.
Yeah, it's a Toys to Life thing.
Yeah.
But it's above the Skylanders demo. I feel like it's for Lego people.
Okay.
But there's a Lego Toys to Life already, Lego Dimensions, which is like doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a Ubi for trying, and Ubi doesn't have a Toys to Life thing yet. So I just want to know how it works with the controllers that don't have built-in NFC.
I mean, maybe they have different attachments that just like mount like a Bluetooth thing.
Yeah, okay.
That could work. I don't know. Like it's. I don't know. How do they mount in general? Considering that there's buttons in the middle of these things.
Yeah, the DualShock.
With the exception of the Switch.
The DualShock 4
has a home button.
The ship mounts on a touchpad. There's a fucking giant touchpad in the middle of this.
Well, I guess there's no touchpad use in this game.
That's my favorite part of the controller.
Like, I actually do like it, even though I don't know if anything uses it. But I just like that it's there.
Yeah.
I like when things just try to put as much input as possible without like it being like weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Switch version just has a full different grip. Like it is a grip with the thing attached to it. I don't know. I'm probably not going to be playing it. It's not my type of thing. Also, the name I don't think is going to pull very many people in. I don't know.
So, Ubisoft for the last few years has always had a surprise at the end of their conferences. Some would say the biggest surprise they've ever had was the announcement of Steep. But this year, I think they might have topped it.
I don't remember it. With
the return of a game that people thought was long dead.
Oh! Fucking...
The look of realization.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I must be thinking of the only game I really cared about at that point. Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2
was re-revealed,
but this time with... Was there visuals the last time?
What?
Was there visuals the last time?
Yeah, there was another CGI trailer.
Oh.
A few years ago.
Well, this time we saw somebody at a computer seemingly playing the game, right? Like
developing it.
Yeah, or they were developing the cutscene. But I think they were playing the game.
Yeah, so I just was reading some stuff right before we started recording. The way Michel Ancel describes it, and
it's a sexy name.
Yeah, and he's another dude who cried,
yes.
But rightfully so. Also, it's been a long time coming, but I think his fans, including us, might also need to grab some tissues because apparently, the game is like at day 0 of development.
Really?
Like,
how does that happen?
So the original reveal of Beyond Good and Evil 2 was a few years ago, and then nothing happened.
Was that when they revealed that they were considering working on this?
What happened was it was supposed to be for last gen.
Okay.
And then he was like, okay, well, the concept is a little more ambitious than we thought. We're gonna push it to next gen.
Okay.
So.
Which is now this gen.
Which is now, and he's like, it's not gonna be at E3. Show off this fucking bomb ass CGI trailer, and then they come out. And tears are shed, and the whole show had this vibe that it was like Eve's last show, or because they're still dealing with that Vivendi takeover,
right?
but I thought that was over, but apparently like it's not.
Huh.
But going back to the game, like it was super ambitious, and apparently all that time, like in those 15 years, they were just developing the tech so they could make this game. And the tech is finally finished, because essentially he wants to create an open world spacefaring MMO type thing. Like it has online co-op.
Okay.
We know that in that breakdown trailer.
Is it MMO like, or is it an MMO?
I gotta look up this stuff.
Like I can imagine it being like an MMO in the way that Dragon Quest 11 is, or 10, sorry.
In terms of like exploration.
Where no, Dragon Quest 10 is an MMO, but it has a single player mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
I haven't really looked into.
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand anything in Dragon Quest 10 because it's in Japanese only, so I never looked into it too much. But the single player mode, like that'd be kind of cool, but
yeah, like this game.
When you look at the world, it does make sense for an MMO. Like,
yeah,
like when it comes to character creation, you have like all these races and all these jobs, like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
vehicles.
But the thing is, like, hopefully this isn't the case, but like, are we gonna wait another like 5 or something years for another cool looking CGI trailer on the PS5 or?
I don't know.
Because, like, it's the creator himself saying. So straight up, he said, the guy who wrote this article said like, the graphics were mostly placeholder, and Ansel himself said 2 weeks ago there were no graphics.
Oh my god.
So 3 years ago they started working on the technology. It started out as a kind of solar system simulation tool.
Okay. Do you think at any point they went and tried to acquire the
No Man's Sky procedural? I don't know. Okay, so it combines elements of online worlds, early access releases, role-playing games, and procedural generation.
What the hell? Early access? What?
So did you ever go on that website they promoted, the space?
I kept on trying. I just wouldn't.
So when you're on that website and you click around, it very much has the vibe of an early access thing. Like they're essentially asking you to sign up so they can like send you polls and like ask you like, hey, what are you interested in? Like there's a poll that asks you what you think the most, which character you like the most from the trailer. There's they straight up ask you like, what kind of other cultures would you like to see? Like, because
from a listed amount, or do I get to make one up?
No, like they give us context for that trailer and say like, this planet was first inhabited by people from the Indian subcontinent and like other East Asian cultures. That's why you see a lot of Buddhist imagery and iconography. And in that same article, they're like, well, what kind of other cultures from Earth would you like? Like, they're essentially, it's very early access.
I want a bunch of drunken Croatians. Not really.
Like, it's...
I'm Croatian, don't worry.
It sucks to say, it's really disheartening. But it's like, they essentially want people to help them make this game.
I get it.
Because the game is nowhere close to even being started. I'm totally down for that vision of a game that can simulate an entire solar system. And
it feels like too ambitious.
Yes.
Like it feels incredibly unlikely that you're going to get something that meets that vision and is also or comes out anywhere close to it and is good.
Yeah. And looks like that.
Yeah. That's incredibly ambitious. You have to go more incremental with that. Like just the tech has, if you worked on it for 3 years, like that's not a lot of time for something that ambitious, but like there's so many points of failure for that. Like if you're finished with it, which you're definitely not with the tech, like now is the point in which you're making the game while going through the heaviest debug process ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It scares me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a thing we could go for, but
yeah,
it
no.
scares me. 'Cause I almost said Norman Sky. No Man's Sky
Norman
is a good
yeah.
representation of like ambitious, but I mean, granted, I almost don't understand people's reason for being pissed off about the game, because I saw that trailer. It felt like 4 E3s. So it really wasn't. It just every single E3 conference at an E3. And I never knew what you were supposed to do in that game.
Yeah.
So when people bought it and they were like, I don't know, I'm just like looking around, I'm like, I didn't fucking want to do. It was just.
I'm in the same boat with you. Like, I think the blowback was a little like unwarranted. Like I felt like
it's
it was
like Ouya blowback. It's like you got exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. And like they never really truly like obfuscated anything. Like there's people right now who are like shaking their heads and like and ready to cut our throats. But like people are comparing Sean Murray, that dude who was always there to talk about it, with Peter Molyneux.
Oh.
And like Sean Murray never said you can plant an acorn and then come back to it and then it'll be a fucking tree.
Yeah, and
he just said I'm making this super ambitious game that may or may not have multiplayer.
And he wasn't exalted like Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, he wasn't.
While lying to us.
He wasn't knighted by France or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he didn't.
Like he's just some dude who's working with some friends, like a handful of them, that made this super ambitious game.
And it would have come out earlier had it not been for their place being flooded.
Yeah, like I don't know, but
yeah, that's.
But the difference with that is Ubisoft has fucking studios around the world.
Yeah, they're a conglomerate.
There's a lot of fucking resources there. It would really suck if like Eve does see himself like being pushed out of the company and he was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to say yes to that super ambitious Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah.
And whatever happens. I'm going to go steep now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go steep.
Gonna go steep.
He's like, you mean sleep? He's like, no.
Steep.
I think he just jumps off a mountain. So yeah, it's one of those games where it ignites your imagination and you get super pumped. I was jumping up and down, and then the reality of the situation, the gravity hits you, and you're just like, fuck. Like,
it feels like nowadays video game companies are doing an excellent job of building us up.
Yeah.
Building us up and not always letting us down necessarily, but like...
The hype machine is at its most efficient now. They know exactly what buttons to push and like when to hit us and where.
Yeah.
Like he straight up said it's not going to be here at this E3, and it's there. And and it sounds like I'm trying to throw him under the bus now.
Yeah.
When it's like, I don't know. It's just when you announce something early, it can really come to bite you in the ass.
Like this is the first announcement that we're bringing up that feels like a thing where somebody was like, "We don't have a show closer, or we have a big thing, big surprise. We need to greenlight something now."
Yeah.
Right? Or not even if it's greenlighting. We need to put something together to show we're working on.
Yeah,
this
we need
now.
to hire an outside CGI studio.
Yeah.
And get them to make something really flashy. Yeah, like there was
a second of two because I'm not sure if it's just two. I can only think of two off the top of my head. Two examples of something that's clearly just announced now, just for.
Yeah, like there wasn't even a semblance of like a release window after the title dropped or whatever. But
it was cool that we had a moment that was sort of not on the level of, but reminiscent of the announcement at from PlayStation 2015 thing.
Yeah, no, like it was cool to see that there, especially for myself, to see an announcement that could get me as excited as 2015, because I seriously thought like this is super great this year, like to see my friends super excited, to see the internet super optimistic about the future of games. But I then thought, like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, could this moment ever be recreated? Because the
Well,
only other one,
we should have learned from the first time, because it was like, okay,
Shenmue 3.
yeah, Shenmue 3, and then we saw like some footage, and I laughed at
Yeah.
the first footage,
Yeah.
and then we haven't heard about much since then. And then the FF7 thing, like, I was like, first of all, I had told myself I wasn't getting excited,
Yeah.
and I did.
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
but
It's
then-
it's hard to hide.
But then, like, you know, you saw, like, what, a glimpse soon afterwards, and then not too much since then.
Yeah.
And then the shit that they showed off was stuff I was like, oh, well, that killed my hype a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
And then recently they were like, hey, we're gonna develop it now instead of like an outside studio.
did they say that?
Yeah, like Nomura's like trying to get like more people for the internal team or something. I don't know.
Jesus.
Like, and it's episodic also.
Yeah, and I
but,
worry about Nomura stuff.
Yeah.
I trust him for Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is his baby.
Yeah.
Even FF15,
Yeah.
I feel like there was maybe more tampering than we know in that. I don't feel like he would have done the Cup of Noodles quest.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, we're talking about E3 2 years ago right now. But, like, you know,
No,
but as far
like
as...
like we said, you have to look at the past
Yeah.
to see the future.
To see the shitty games that suck ass. But, no. Okay. But yeah, like, we should have known that, like, it's like it wasn't going to be Beyond Good and Evil gets announced, and then, you know, a couple months from now we get to see the first bits of footage, and then a year from now it's out.
Yeah.
And we're all like, oh my god. Like, this is literally like, we have no idea. They have no idea how long it's going to take.
Yeah, no,
make
like,
this. And it could be canceled.
yeah. We're living in a day and age where it's very clear that these people who are working at these companies know what we want.
Mm-hmm.
They have like their thumb on the pulse or whatever, but they're sort of taking advantage of that information
Yes.
because
And then and then in a lot of cases, producing something that's not what we want,
Yeah.
or too. I don't want to say too much like what we want. It's almost like, you know, they're using some of, like, our data of our reactions to past things,
yeah.
and then making something that is either too close to the past thing and not actually doing anything more, or
Yeah.
or they're, you know, simply utilizing. Sometimes it could even be they had an idea for a game and they need to look for an IP to utilize,
Yeah.
to, like, making a new one.
Yeah.
So just look at, like, oh, what are the
which ones do we own?
yeah,
right
which
now?
don't, yeah.
Yeah, like that with like Prey, like
Mm-hmm.
another Prey exists. There was supposed to be a sequel that looked pretty rad, and then they canceled that, and then they're like, oh, we're making this other game. Let's just call that Prey.
Mm.
That'll work. Because, you know, if
Something happened with Castlevania.
Oh, really?
Well, Castlevania Lord of Shadows. Remember
Oh, that
one?
was supposed to be something else?
Yeah, I think it might have originally been announced as something else. I'm not sure. But, like, you look at it, it, like, looks more Western than any, like,
Yeah.
Castlevania, and the guy's like he's kind of burly compared to any, like, Japanese character.
Yeah, his name is like Salmon Balmoon. I mean, I don't
Yeah, I figured.
He's a fisherman.
Because, like, yeah, first of all, that's salmon, but,
Salmon Balmoon.
but, like,
But yeah, like, to wrap up the Ubisoft stuff is, it's super cool that they know which things will trigger the most excitement from their fans. And as we get into Nintendo stuff, we'll definitely be talking about this again. But, like, you gotta have some fun. Like, it's like giving us a cake,
mm-hmm.
and it's just it's
and then
all
the cake isn't real. So
Yeah.
I made a reference.
yeah.
Laugh.
Portal
Subscribe.
Portal gamer subscribe.
Yeah.
But talking about, you know, some people who can see through this bullshit, they decided to jump in on the conference bandwagon this year.
Oh, I almost forgot. But yes,
Yeah.
this actually happened before the Ubisoft conference, right? No. Yes. It happened
Yes.
after, yeah, it happened after Bethesda's conference.
Yes. This happened very late.
1 a.m. for us.
1 a.m. on the East Coast on Sunday night. Originally, I think we were gonna just skip it because we were like, oh, it's just this indie thing. They're probably gonna just be filleting themselves.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was, but literally, no.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we didn't watch the whole 9-hour stream.
No,
it could have happened.
That could have happened anytime. I couldn't get the stream for most of that 9 hours.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I swear they just blacked it out and just said like, oh, some of you are getting problems.
But so I'd seen a thread. Someone mentioned Eric Andre. I knew Adult Swim was involved, so I said, oh, throw it on. We saw the tail end of the
conference.
Of the conference.
We quoted. We did air quotes. You can't see it.
Yeah. And it is, if you have the time, if you watch Adult Swim at all, please do yourself a favor and check this shit out.
Yeah. Figure when we turned it on, the first thing we saw was a guy throwing money at a 1999 white computer monitor with a glass case with a Raspberry Pi in it, and it was just like absorbing the money,
yeah.
And then like it ate his hand and like blood was spraying and everything.
Yeah.
And there was like an authoritarian like CSO like
chief synergy officer.
Yeah, like and then they went into what I thought was supposed to be like the analysis of the conference, which maybe it was, but it was more so supposed to be the pre-show to the conferences of the next day.
Yeah.
And
no, wasn't it pre-show to the conference that just had occurred? I thought that's how I interpreted it. Yeah.
But I figured since it was called the pre-show, and there's pre-shows that are legitimate before the other, like it'd be the pre-show, or as the one guy said, it's the pre-show. And it was the rap battle for the motherfucking kids.
Yeah, like it sounds like we're ruining all the best jokes, but
there's 9 hours. Trust us.
What was the math? 12.
Oh yeah, 12. If it stopped early and then there was a pre-show for the thing, then it would probably maybe 9 hours.
Yeah.
But like people were saying it was going to go all the way up until the PC conference. Again, we didn't watch it, which would have been 12 hours for us. I mean, everywhere, but like the math that we did.
Yeah, like, so what happens is after the 15-minute fake conference that aired at 1 o'clock, Twitch handed over their stream to this dude named John Danger, who works for Twitch.
John Danger?
Yeah, he was the host.
It wasn't John Danger. It was something like Menace or no.
Yeah, wasn't it Danger?
I don't think it was Danger. His name began with, I think his last name began with an M. He had a stage name.
Okay.
Whatever it was, but like...
But there were... so what would happen is, like, they try to show off games like Frog Smasher and other...
Frog Smash.
Frog Smash.
Mm-hmm. Because Frog Smasher, you would be smashing frogs. In this case, it's Frog Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they had wrestlers. They would cut to some like indie wrestling matches with like people dressed up as kaijus.
Yeah, it looked like Chikara, but with like block-headed people in a kaiju match. And one of the matches went really long, and they fast-forwarded through it. Like, it went like a half hour, it felt like. And
I would have to... Well, you're not going to be watching this stuff if you do suffer from seizures anyway, because a lot of video games have flashing lights. But there's some commercials during these segments that are...
Yeah, they could be seizure-inducing.
Yeah.
Was that like just before the everything is
awful
or everything's terrible?
We watched like a good 3 hours before we decided... Well, I decided I needed to...
Yeah, and I tried to stay awake for a little bit longer and watch it, but... It wasn't actually the staying awake that was the problem. It was just I lost the stream and I couldn't get it back.
Yeah, I guess Elijah Wood's transference had worn off at that point. Maybe that's what that whole thing was. Like, no one knows what we're talking about. Like, they're scrubbing back right now. They're like, what the fuck are these people talking about? What the fuck are they talking about? There was no 9-hour stream.
Like,
what the fuck is Digital Devolver?
And the thing is, I remember reading about it the next day, and they apparently played like 2 Sonic games that are being announced.
Yeah,
and I'm
that were announced.
Yeah. I'm like, go figure that Sonic would get their their big,
spotlight.
big spotlight.
Fucking
on,
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's when it deserves to get its spotlight.
On a show that, like the beginning cast is like there's Future Man.
Future Man.
And Future Man got replaced by Vince or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like when Vince comes in and beats the shit out of him, and he gets and then Vince becomes like the whipping boy or whatever. And then another wrestler who looks really familiar to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, we forgot to mention Boone.
Oh yeah, Boone something Bounty Hunter.
Boone Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. They show a trailer for that's starring John Morrison or Johnny Mundo or John Hennigan and many of the names he goes under. I particularly liked when Vince was the one wrestler putting Vince's head against his dick, and Vince was like, "I can feel it, I can feel it against my head." This is a thing that's on literally the official Twitch E3 stream. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
I commend their balls.
Yeah.
For putting this up.
I salute their balls too.
I salute their shorts. That's a reference to a 90s show. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else. Just if you can find it on YouTube, just watch it. If we just talked about it, it would sound
like we were making it up.
Yeah, it would sound like we're making it up. And for what it's worth, we can't give it a format because it didn't have one.
Yeah.
I literally, it was tiring to watch. I can't imagine the energy that they had to have to just be in character the whole time, with the exception of one time where they weren't. And the thing is, you're like, oh,
is that
they cut to them? But the whole thing was probably pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so weird.
Yeah. If you're into weird shit.
Well, you can check it on Twitch.
It has to be on Twitch, unless they fucking deleted it just to fuck with us.
Oh my god, could you imagine that?
At least check out the 15-minute conference if you're one of those guys who
Did you say Digital Devolver?
Yeah.
Devolver Digital.
What? Oh,
yeah.
I said Digital Devolver.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a thing that's been happening. You say it one way, then I say it the other. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Otherwise, I wouldn't be correcting you.
Oh, okay.
But
so
you could, they'll correct us.
Yeah. If you guys are sick of these conferences with all this talk about how about GPUs and CPUs and 4Ks and 4K. and 60 FPS, and you just want to see something real and with real indie games and gamers, and check out the Red Dead Revolver conference. It's only 15 minutes long, but you won't regret it.
Yeah, and you'll doubt that all the games are real, and then you realize they are. And there's a whole bunch about the conference that I was just like, that's not real. And you look it up and it's real.
Yeah, all the games are real, I think.
Or movies that they show off. All of them. It's all real. Yeah, I didn't think it.
Yeah, the TV shows that they show are all real.
Right, they showed part of a TV show. Unreleased TV show, I believe.
Yeah, with Courtney Love in it. And apparently it's a part of a 24-hour marathon.
Yeah.
But I think we covered all of the third party. You're probably asking, what about the PC show? Fuck the PC show. Because
if we haven't heard about it, then clearly there was nothing of note. Unless you can tell me that John Carmack or whoever is out there wearing a VR backpack again, then I'm not interested.
Yeah, if there's no fucking VR backpacks, then that's it.
He's just wearing a VR backpack and the Splatoon headset.
You can't see, he's just walking around in the dark. Yeah, he's just
walking around in the dark. I would love that. Just give me a 24-hour live stream of him trying to get around in that, and I'm good.
And then he's not even playing a game, he's just trying to get around.
Yeah, he's just blindfold. It's a heavy blindfold on a computer programmer. Computer programmer, you know what I mean. Oh, God.
But, yeah, that's it for...
Third parties.
And
whatever... No, yeah, Devolver Digital was third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and our other podcasts, so check those out. And we hope you stay safe and healthy and happy, and that your families know where you are at all times. And try to keep cool. And when you take a left onto a street, make sure you're checking the crosswalk. That's how most automobile accidents occur.
And if you have to turn across 2 lanes, treat it as 2 turns. Don't look at it as one. Turn.
Don't do it as one large turn. Just wait a few seconds and turn to the other lane. I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered all the bases.
Yeah, and thank you for listening to our podcast for the motherfucking kids.